Hey guys, it's that TCAT again, and I'm going to show you a slightly different technique this time for the sunset silhouette. Again, we're just going to do a palm tree, and this time it's going to have kind of a more pastel sort of watercolor sunset background instead of the really rich, vibrant, heavy strokes that I did in my previous video, if you came from watching that. I've got some paints left over from that painting I did, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. The process is very similar, except for you change up one thing. I'm going to start off by actually wetting down the canvas. Now, if you want, you can actually you can pre-mix your colors with some water, dilute them down, and do this that way. That way you have some really, basically some watercolors ready to go. But I like to start with a wet canvas, and in this case I actually begin at the bottom with some yellow. And then when I start bringing this across, I don't use a whole lot of paint because I really want it to kind of spread the colors out a lot. Now, a lot of these canvases that you buy in the store, they're treated. I don't know if it's the gesso they use or something, but they really don't always hold the water. It kind of beads up, and that's okay if you actually just kind of rub it in with the brush. That tends to kind of go away. Now I've got some really vibrant yellow down here. Going to bring in some orange above that. And I always leave some space when I'm adding a new color. I leave some space, and then what I'm going to do is actually blend them together once I get these going. And again, I gotta really work this in because of that gesso or whatever treatment they put on this canvas. If you actually use some watercolor paper or some artboard or something like that, you would have a better result, most likely. I'm going to do the red at the top. So it's really giving me some trouble up here. As you can see, as I kind of really work that in, it stops beating up, so it could be just some sort of waxy substance that's on the canvas, but you take as much time as you need to on that. Okay. Now I'm actually going to bring these and blend them together. Now notice I'm not actually going to dip further into my paints. Just going to bring these together here too. And one of the cool things about this technique is it really gives you a lot of time to reach a gradient that you like. And you can completely move it . Okay, so I've got sort of a gradient here, new transitions from red and down to orange. I'm actually going to add just a little more orange down in here, bring this out just a tad, because my orange kind of got pulled a lot into the yellow and into the red and lost some of its identity, so I'm going to add a little more of that. I'm going to spend some time actually trying to work out this. So, not always can you get it out, get it to stay. And honestly, it kind of adds more texture to the painting, so you might, I mean, it's up to you if you want to work that out or if you want to use different material. But I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to apply a little bit more red to fill in the beaded up spots, and then we're going to move on from there. Okay, we're back with our pastel watercolor sunset. It's dry, and as you can see, I've fixed a lot of that, a lot of areas where it was beading up, and really what it took is just a lot more working in with the brush. Again, to be honest, the canvas isn't really the best, especially this kind isn't the best for watercolors, but I really like canvas. I like that it comes, you can buy it stretched over a frame, and it can hang on the wall as is. You don't even have to do anything else. But it just required a little bit extra work. Some watercolor papers would definitely be better, have a better visual result. But I actually like the texture that canvas offers. So we're going to go on and we're going to do another palm tree like we did our last video. Only this time it's going to be a little bit different. The first thing is I'm actually using a black that I prefer to the other. They're both the same brand. They're both Winsor & Newton, but for some reason they're ivory black. I just don't particularly care for the consistency, and as you can already probably tell, this one really coats a lot better. And in that sense, I can see the need to have something like the ivory black, which is a little more has a higher opacity, but in this case, I really like, especially for doing silhouettes, I prefer a very deep, rich black that coats really well and that I don't have to go over multiple times. So that's the first thing that you're going to notice. I'm doing that. This is Mars Black. I don't know if I said that already. But so both Winsor Newton acrylic paints, but this one is Mars Black, the other was Ivory Black, and hopefully you'll be able to see the difference here. And I don't know, maybe after watching both videos, you will have preferred the Ivory Black to the Mars Black, but I guess to each their own. So again, I really like to keep my strokes, even though it's we have kind of a varying texture here. We have this pastel watercolor, and then we have this very rich black painted on. I actually like that contrast. To me, again, it's all about the aesthetics, the visual appeal that those offer. When everything is very smooth and doesn't have the visible strokes or the gradient, you can't tell that it was applied by hand. When things get that way, it loses some of its appeal to me. And don't get me wrong, artists who take that time and really, really smooth things out and render it really clean, that's very impressive. I've done paintings like that, and it takes a lot of time. And that's no easy feat. But as far as my personal taste, I like it rough like this. This time with the Mars Black, we're going to do another palm tree. Maybe we'll do a pair of smaller palm trees. I don't know. So I'm gonna kind of give myself an idea of where the palm tree is gonna start from. That one's a little farther from the edge. Okay. So, and I'm actually going to, as you often see with palm trees, they have a lean and a curve to them. So I'm going to give these ones a really steep lean here. That was too much. But again, this is just a little tutorial video, so things don't have to be perfect. It's just to give you an idea of how these are created, what goes into them, and maybe inspire you to do something similar. You can create your own. I find with artwork, it's really it's all about the end result. It's really however you choose to get there, however, whatever techniques you use, materials, methods. I mean, really, the sky is the limit. But that the end result is really what counts. And as long as you, as the artist, achieve what you were attempting to do, I call it success and I call it art. So, you may hear those people who will look at a painting and they're so quick to judge it. They're so quick to label it as whether or not it's truly art. And I once had a friend who I heard say, if I look at a painting and I feel I can do that, then it's not art. Of course, he didn't consider himself an artist, and that's kind of what he used to base that opinion on, is he wasn't an artist, so if he could do it, not being an artist, then it was an art. Just couldn't be art in his mind. And I think that's a very interesting but inaccurate view of art. But in general, I find people like to really, they attempt to label things and decide if they're artwork or not. And you're welcome to do that with any art piece. You can make your own opinion about it. If it's not art in your eyes, then I guess, I'm not going to waste time trying to prove it to you. But I really find that it's not as much about the method and the technique or how you got there, although that's usually very interesting. It's all about the end result. Art is the end result. If you're happy with it, then great. Alright, so give it that bulb at the end, kind of the Q-tip. And do one at this end as well. And then we're going to start filling out those fronds. I really didn't want to go off the page, so I'm just kind of going to hook this one down and bend it down for, for that purpose. Alright, so I've kind of got these marked out here. They need a lot more detail to fill in, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So remember, we're going to give these a very uneven underside. Helps with the realism, if there is any. And one other thing, I am kind of painting at an uncomfortable angle. Usually, I have my canvas kind of set up and I can sit more directly in front of it and not feel like, I'm at this weird angle where I'm got my head kind of cocked to the side and trying to be aware of whether or not you guys at home can see. But, hopefully this is okay here. Oil paints are some of my favorite paints to paint with overall, but you can't really argue with the versatility of acrylic. It really, you can do almost anything with acrylic, and it's got a very quick dry time for paintings like this one, where you kind of do it in 2 different layers. But it also can be extended. It's water based, so convenience wise and for price for that matter, acrylic is really the way to go. But they definitely, both oil and acrylic have their benefits and their strong points. So now before I get on, I'm going to go back and kind of fix these up a little nicer here. But I think I'm going to switch brushes. Again, I'm switching to more of a thinner detail brush. I'm going to add some of these little shoots and spires that come out from varying angles. So I'm going to bring in and get these fronds coming out. And already, as far as my preferences go, I'm liking this a lot better than I did with the ivory black. The ivory black. I don't know. Like I said, it's just the consistency. It's a little more stubborn to work with, and when you really need to get in and do some details, it affects that. But I mean, I think the end result was definitely acceptable, but I prefer the Mars Black in this case for this brand. I worked with a lot of different paints and from a lot of different brands and different colors, and I mean, to be honest, I usually just go for what's on sale at the time, because I am after all, I'm an artist, and so you gotta work on a budget, or else you'll never get to work at all. So I do it mostly out of my passion for creating, and any painting I sell or money I make is just simply icing on the cake, because I just truly enjoy doing it, and this is just who I am. So if you have, you know, a room in your house which kind of has a beach theme, then you know, this would definitely go well there. So, and as you've seen, I mean, it's really simple to do. So grab some paints and canvas or paper artboard and get to work. There you have it, 2 palm trees. Actually, I almost forgot a second time, but the first video I did of the solo palm tree, I did forget to add one last detail, which I've gone and added since the end of the video. But you know, palm trees, obviously they have these very distinct kind of trunks, and you need to kind of add these little nubs that come out on the sides, and you do those, you just kind of space them out. And of course, this just adds to the detail of the silhouette, and it's one of the recognizable features. Alright, and there you have it. Once it dries, you will have 2 very distinct palm tree silhouettes on a sunset sky using watercolor paints. Just as with all my paintings, it is for sale. This one's going to be on eBay. The starting bid will be $1 with no reserve. You know, people ask me, why do you start your auctions at $1? Well, as I mentioned earlier in this video, you know, my passion is creating the artwork, not selling it. I do need to make a living. I do need to replenish my supplies in order to keep going, so I do have them for sale. And obviously I can't just have stacks and stacks of paintings building up around me. That would be kind of pointless. So they literally just go to the highest bidder, and whatever value people place on them, that's what value they are. So if you're interested, it's going to be on eBay soon. The link will be posted below, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.